TO. You know, it's a very challenging thing to do, and Silvi definitely a player that embodies that competitive spirit as well as the community spirit.
Absolutely. TOing. I mean, I'm like, maybe lazy isn't the right word, but I'm like the kind of person, like, I don't enter tournaments that I commentate in, you know, like,
sure.
I just, it's just too...
One-track mind.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just easier to kind of focus on kind of what you want to focus on, so...
Silvi, by the way, a really fun Sheik to watch. Someone that I actually feel is like really good at soft aerials and reversing, like just so many cool little soft back air, reverse back air things. So I think this will be actually a very fun set to watch. Silvi, I think, pretty experienced in Sheik Ditto in general too. There's a few Washington Sheiks that they play a lot.
Nice. Already, you know, one of the things always sticks out in my mind when you watch people play Melee or play against someone is nice PC drop. You can actually get the edge guard. Probably going to see what I mean about option coverage there. We see the air dodge option did not even use Sheik's recovery in the first place, because that is the better option in that situation. It's a beautiful up tilt.
Oh my god, it's
so much damage.
Good space now, the down smash. Just able to get a shield out from Pensive there, though. Now this is exactly where I found myself versus Silvi, was going, okay, I kind of, you know, I'm kind of in it, and then Silvi just vice grip on that second stock, and really good at staying alive and just kind of keeping the momentum going on their side.
No, absolutely. One of the things I was going to mention, or like what I was mentioning, was basically just that, like, when you start a game, you can pretty much immediately tell a player's skill level within like the first 3 or 4 seconds. Just the way they move, the way they kind of approach. And Silvi, he's been kind of moving in a way that, again, communicates that skill. So things like how he controls needles, things like some of the kind of like platform movement. I mean, specifically needles is a really good example, because it's kind of tricky to manage your turning around back and forth as Sheik, because you like have this very small window to like quickly get that kind of movement. But you know, and the way
to do it safely.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
really the big. Like it's easy enough to turn around. It's hard to do it where you're not actually going to get punished for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. So that's kind of just an easy way to sort of gauge a player's skill, is like the way they're moving and kind of like the intent behind the movement.
Yes.
Grab the ledge, that roll up thing. Look at the down air. See, like, honestly, back throw probably would have been stronger, especially because one of the nice things about the throws is that if you time it slightly incorrectly, you still won't be able to cover people spamming shields. So.
Gotcha. I was going to say, when you were talking about it earlier, you mentioned back throw off the edge. I was like, I would down it. And I was like, okay, maybe I guess back throw makes sense. And you're right. It is a kind of more option select-esque decision.
Yeah, it just like, it's what both like Club and BT Team do for most of their edge guards. It's just kind of like, against Sheik at least, they're looking for you know, things like back air when they're actually off the stage. When they're back on the stage, if they're not landing on the platform, they just kind of reset the situation. You can do it over and over and over again.
Worth mentioning, we haven't seen a lot of grabs. Not been a very grab-heavy, at least in neutral, I should say. Like, there's not been a lot of opportunities even to chain throw, even though we haven't seen any chain throwing. So it's been a little bit more of a scrappy game, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, part of that I think is because Silvi is converting so hard off of the openings that just there's less of a need to just kind of go for the chain grab because they're already kind of in the air.
Yeah. Here we are seeing a little bit more of a grab-based combo here from Pensive. Worth mentioning, I feel like, you know, Silvi's plant tag. I know that Silvi is a biologist. He's actually in the same graduate program, or at least committed to the same graduate program that my partner's in. So shout out to all my SMEeple out there, the School for Marine and Environmental Affairs. And that's why I think that plant tag is up there. Domino Effect, the D in Silvi's names. All about climate justice, but oh my god.
Everything about that.
For that one, that was not very
really fun. Yeah, even just, I was thinking like, are they gonna go for weak bear up smash? Didn't end up working out. Went for like a back air instead, and then finishing with the poop off the top.
Now, I'm really curious how that down smash sent that way. If that was like some sort of SDI to get into a reverse hitbox or just already reversed. That was just a weird angle for that down smash to send. And now this is exactly where Silvi can really pile on the pressure, is if they can survive and all of a sudden start getting this stock to much higher percentages. Silvi very good at playing with that lead. Oh, the tilt spacing is just so nice. Staying safe.
Yeah, the spacing just in general, really good. Right now, kind of playing relatively safe in the corner. Gets hit, doesn't really worry too much about it, but the back air is going to close it out. 84% though, you don't have to worry about crouch cancel. You can kind of dash attack more freely, you can tilt more freely, you're going to get conversions like that.
That should wrap up the stock. Pensive going to have to figure out a way to reduce this lead. Been the theme of both of these games so far.
Yeah, and it's tricky because, you know, she kind of a character is notoriously weak against crouch cancel. That's something she's weak against, like, you know, herself. So those low percents, the game plan is very different from the high percents. You know, if you're at 28, you're not able to just kind of go for sort of dash attacks, try to get kind of like an F tilt to open up the opponent. Those aren't going to work unless, of course, they're already in the air like what we just saw.
Yep. And I will say, Silvi, I think, is a big fan of Yoshi's story. I think this is one of their favorite stages, and you can see the comfort at which they're doing all these little scar jump recoveries using Randall, right? Like, some people are just fiends for Yoshi's story and all the weirdness that you can kind of do here, and I think Silvi's definitely one of those people. Nice conversion, though, from Pensive. Brings it back to a chance here, but it's definitely going to be important not to take too much percentage here, and already I think Pensive approaching being out of crouch cancel range for a lot of Sheik's moves.
Yeah, I think that was a runoff up air. There are just certain things that Pensive is doing that are just like a bit, I mean, like without being too critical, like just a little bit wrong, like a little bit kind of like less optimal, a little
just
bit
behind, right?
Yeah,
it's like you get there. We use the phrase, right, like just in time, right? If you're able to get there just in time, it's great. Sometimes it's just a tad late, right? But a really clean rest of that stock, right, as we're kind of talking about what could be improved. This is, again, though, the danger zone, right? You're at these high percentages. Silvi at 0. This grab could wrap it up. Just depends on what the platform follow-up is here.
And, you know, like the punish we just saw from Silvi is like a really good example of that. Going from the up air into the back air and I think a forward air. It's just certain move choices. This is a really good sequence so far, though. Love the up tilt. Down air just a little bit late. But yeah, so far, Silvi's punish game has just been a bit cleaner, and the spacing has been quite a bit better.
Yeah, I mean, right as you say that, right, that little spot dodge just won the set right there, you know? Just having the presence of mind to be like, okay, I think I know what I'm going to do here. Spot dodge, turn around, down smash. Nice and easy. And that's a great little game from Silvi there. Shout out to Domino Effect. If you're in Washington ever, check to see if there's a Domino Effect running or any sort of Washington event. There's lots of stuff going on. I'm a Seattle guy myself, and really can't thank Silvi Max enough for all their contributions to the Washington scene. And glad to see that they're still performing well at a major. I think that they're really an up-and-coming player to watch and someone that you should check out, especially if you like Sheik.
I think one of the it's definitely a cliche at this point, but like the average like skill floor for Melee is very high.